Yes. Hello, my beautiful friends. What an amazing day it is. Let us wait for the tubes to fire up all across the fruited plain of the interwebs before we go ahead and get started. Hopefully, things are kicking off well for you as the week comes to a nice close. I hope your Friday is amazing and outstanding. And it looks like things are warming up, which is tremendous news. Hello, my friends. It is a beautiful Friday. We made it through another busy week. We're not done yet. We got a bunch of stuff to get into today. Really glad that you're joining us. Let me give us a quick brief preview, golly, on what is coming up. We got 4 topics, and they're all just amazing. We'll talk about Fani Willis because Congress has sent over several letters to her team over at her office. And what's going on? There it goes. And Congress is getting a bunch of letters Fani is getting a bunch of letters from Congress. Locals just kicked over. Hello, locals. Sorry for the delay. So Fani Willis is coming up. Several letters that Congress sent to her office. Then we've got this FBI story. This is wild. Shout out to Garrett O'Boyle for this. I'm going to repost this so you can follow Garrett. But check this out. The FBI created this little coin with their new leader. What would Driz do? Like, this is a real thing. All right. We're going to come back to this. It's the J6 crapless coin. I can't even believe it's a real thing. We've got that coming up. And we'll also look at this FBI lawsuit because the FBI Agents Associations is such a cowardly, pathetic organization representing a bunch of cowardly, pathetic agents who can't even have their names out there when they've been accused of wrongdoing. Remember that the J6ers had this FBI smear their names all over the world, put their photos out, dangerous insurrection, constantly wreck their lives, wreck their reputations and everything, even though they're entitled to a presumption of innocence. But the J6ers took it, persevered, and now justice is being done. But these FBI agents, they can't even have their names out there when they're accused of wrongdoing because it's going to be dangerous for them because they're so freaking pathetic. But anyways, turns out they had a settlement agreement that came out with Trump today that is going to preclude the government from giving us their names because they're so scared of us, I guess. Losers. Anyways, we'll read it. We'll see what the settlement agreement is. And then we'll see what Trump said about this because Caitlin Collins was there. Trump was hanging out with the Prime Minister of Japan today. And Caitlin Collins was asking him some questions. And he had some pretty spicy language when he was talking about these FBI agents. Not profanity. He was just saying, look, they're getting fired. So just get ready for it. So we'll come back on all of that. Then I want to turn our attention to what's happening in the sanctuary cities. Pam Bondi gave an interview and said, look, we're suing. We're coming after you. If you have these sanctuary city laws, you're not allowed to do that. And she made good on her promise. This is a lawsuit complaint that was filed against the sanctuary city of Chicago and J.B. Pritzker, you know who he is, and Brandon Johnson, you know who he is, and the rest of them. They're all responsible for insulating their cities against federal oversight of illegal aliens, which is insurrectionary as far as I can tell. But we'll look at that lawsuit. We'll get some reaction from them because the states are now coming together and fighting back. Portland, Oregon is also suing and they're filing a lawsuit today. And then we'll hear what JB has to say about it because he's saying, come after us in Illinois. We're going to stand up to you, federal government. So we'll see what he says. Then we got a bunch of fun stuff with USAID, including a lawsuit. But you'll notice they're already taking the building name down today. What a glorious sight that is. We might just watch this on repeat for about 15 minutes. If you're cool with that, everybody. All right, cool. All right. So just kidding. But we'll, of course, go through all of this. There was a lawsuit that was filed by the lefty, looks like unions, essentially saying, you can't shut us down. We're too important. And this is unlawful. So they sued the president. We'll go through it. And what's so concerning about all of this, right? It's not the merits of their complaint. It's that the fact that this is going on in the District of Columbia, which is a dumpster fire in terms of law and jurisprudence. So we'll come back on that. We'll see what that lawsuit says. We'll also enjoy some more reaction from the Democrats being blocked because Trump came out today and he said, look, we're not just stopping at USAID. We're just warming up, just cracking his knuckles, getting ready for this because we're going to Department of Ed, we're going to Department of Labor, we're going to the Pentagon. It's all getting cleaned up because there's been a bunch of corruption that's infested every facet of our government over these last decades and centuries, mostly decades. But we've got, as you can see, this was one of the best clips today. This dude right here is just doing his breathing exercises, it looks like, just meditating. Woosah, woosah. As he's being attacked, verbally assaulted by Democrat senators who are just attacking this dude standing there. So he went on for multiple minutes. We'll watch it and just see what a bunch of maniacs these people are. And you can see here on this side, just castigating him and scolding him for not letting him inside. We demand to talk to the manager, is what they're all saying. And they brought out Maxine Waters again, because what else is she going to do? So they're there. Trump had some reaction to this, explaining that the whole USAID thing's a fraud. We're just warming up, so get ready for it. Get used to it, America. JD Vance is dunking on Ro Khanna, and we got a bunch of other just amazing stuff queued up and here. And so it's a beautiful Friday, my friends. I'm glad that you're joining us. Thanks for considering becoming a membo. We do great membo streams with our amazing membos in the mornings and on Saturdays. Well, of course, we'll be here tomorrow for our Saturday membos only stream. You can join on YouTube by clicking the join button or by going to locals, watchingthewatchers.locals.com, linked down in the description below, and join us over there. And we'll see you tomorrow on the membos only Saturday stream. All right, so let's start with Fani Land, shall we? It's been some time since we've had a Fani update. And so we're ready for one. Fani, back in the spotlight, and she's in trouble. Congress looking into her office. This time, they're in charge. They've got the Senate as well. They've got the president. They've got the DOJ, and they're soon going to have the FBI at their wins. And so we're excited to see what comes of it. But here's what Jim Jordan said. Of course, he's the chairman over on the Judiciary Committee in the House. And you'll notice what's happening here is they're all aligning on X with their House body. So the Republicans are starting to get these red badges. The Democrats are starting to get the blue badges so you can identify who the friendlies are. So he says, why was Fani Willis's office coordinating with the sham January 6th committee? We want answers. So do we, Jim. And he is retweeting, Xing, sorry, Elon, don't ban me, the House Judiciary GOP, which posted this. Jordan and Loudermilk now demand information from Big Fani's office and her employees about coordination with the J6 committee. Fani so far has been stonewalling this. We'll see if the rest of them have the same defense mechanism. So we've got Michael Hill, Trina Swanson. We'll go through the list. We also had a post from Loudermilk who said, the apparent coordination between Fulton County, Georgia, which is Big Fani land, and Pelosi's J6 committee has been quite concerning. Jim Jordan and I have serious concerns about her and her staff's behavior, and we intend to get the truth. So pretty short letters, but there's four of them going out here. And so let's go through them. You can see this one coming out of the Committee on the Judiciary, heading into Fani land, to this guy, Mr. Michael Hill, Assistant Chief Investigator, Major Crimes Division from Fani's office. It says, all right, Mr. Hill, our committee at the Judiciary from Congress is continuing its oversight of politically motivated prosecutions by state and local officials. Now, we believe that you possess information related to Fani's office and the political prosecution of President Trump, and we request your voluntary, for now, cooperation with our inquiry. On December 17th, 2021, we remember that Fani Willis wrote a letter to Benny Thompson, the so-called chairman of the committee that was illegally constituted under H.R. 503. He was the chairman of the fake J6 committee, partisan. Fani wrote him to make, quote, an official request for access to records that may be relevant to the political prosecution of Trump. Footnoted here, you can see the letter cited accordingly. Now, of course, he said we are continuing our oversight of Fani and this whole debacle with Nathan Wade, her lover, and multiple letters have gone out. And we've, of course, read through probably every one of them. But this is a follow-up to that, and the balance of power has changed. Now, Fani Willis asked Benny Thompson for access to, quote, in her letter, records including but not limited to recordings and transcripts of witness interviews and depositions, electronic and print records of communications, and records of travel. Fani also noted that she and her staff, meaning perhaps you, Michael, were eager to travel to Washington, D.C., probably to bring her lover so they could go for a fat steak at a USAID-sponsored NGO event, meet with investigators in person, and to receive these records, quote, anytime between January 31st and February 25th. She's like, my calendar's clear. We just got back from the Bahamas. We've got another event coming up in March. She's like, Nathan, like, he's like, oh yeah, early January. It's gonna be great. DC, it'll be cold, it'll be beautiful though. And it'll be nice and sunny. And most of the, perfect. They send it over, coordinate lunch with Kamala. Now, according to recent testimony by Dexter Bond, an FCDAO assistant DA, so somebody else who worked with Fani called Dexter, you, Michael, and several other employees from Fani's office, in fact, traveled to Washington, D.C. at the expense of the Fulton County taxpayers to go collude and conspire against President Trump. Busted! To meet with members and staff of the J6 committee and to review non-public committee documents. Wow. So now they've got travel records, which is just great. And this dude sounds like he's singing. So Dexter Bond is talking to them. He's like, oh yeah, we went. He's like, we were taking selfies. Look who's in here. He's like, here's Nathan Wade, Fani. I thought they were a little close this whole trip, but nobody could say anything. Next photo. He's like, all right, you probably should stop there because they got a little freaky and weird over there. Anyways, yeah, they were all here. We were all there together. We previously wrote to Fani herself requesting documents relating to her coordination with the J6 committee. However, Fani has declined to cooperate with our inquiry. Most recently on December 12, 2024, so just recently last year, just a month and a half ago or so, 2 months, the committee received a letter from Fani in which she confirmed the existence of materials that are responsive to our requests, referring to such materials, quote, as key evidence in the prosecution, but she declined to produce such materials on the grounds that the materials were protected by attorney-client privilege and work product privilege and other common law protections, which is just like a joke. You just kind of throw that in there. Well, what's your basis for this? Oh, common law. Oh, you mean like an entire body of law that like spans like hundreds of years? Oh, that's your basis for it? Great. Thank you. All right, great. Because DA Willis has declined to cooperate, the committee must pursue other avenues to obtain this information. And we're still wondering where Fani's subpoena is. Did that happen yet? She declined to cooperate. Did they subpoena her? I'm not sure if that's happened yet. Hard to tell. So many things have happened, but maybe they'll pursue that now and drag her into Congress. Now, pursuant to Rule X of the House of Representatives, the committee has jurisdiction over criminal justice matters. Now, in addition, as we've explained repeatedly in our correspondence with Big Fani, who just keeps shredding their files, I guess, your office and the politically motivated prosecution of a president implicates federal interests, pretty substantial ones too. Now, Fani's coordination with Liz Cheney's committee, illegal, raises additional questions relevant to the committee's oversight into political prosecutions. Now, accordingly, to advance our oversight, we request that you voluntarily, they didn't put that in there, but it's a request that you appear for a transcribed interview. In addition, we request that you produce the following documents and information. 1, all documents and communications between you or among you and any member, staff member, or anyone on Liz Cheney's fake committee for this time period, 21 to 23. Nice. So let's see your emails. Let's see your text messages. We want all documents and comms referring or relating to records in your possession that are from the J6 committee. Please provide this information and schedule your transcribed interview as soon as possible, but no later than the end of this month, February 20th, 2025. Any questions, give our office a call. Thank you for your prompt attention to this matter. Sincerely, your friends, Jim Jordan and Barry Loudermilk. Look forward to seeing you there. Michael Hill, Assistant Chief Investigator, Major Crimes Division. So that's one. These letters are going to be basically carbon copies of one another, as you can see. But let's see. This one went to Miss Trina Swanson Lucas. So Assistant Chief Investigator. So the number 2 to the main investigator looks like we've got 2 other people. Let's see. So this one is Trina Swanson Lucas. Let's see what her relationship is. Dexter Bond. We requested this. And she confirmed key evidence because she declined to cooperate. Let's see. All documents going to her as well. And again, it comes from Dexter Bond, right? So Dexter Bond pointed the finger to her. So same dude pinned her. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Trina was there for sure. I remember her. She got, pretty wild too when Fani was, anyways. All right. It's just fake. It's just a joke. Relax. All right. So Mr. Donald Wakeford also got one. Chief Senior DA, Anti-Corruption Division. Here, the committee is continuing its oversight of politically motivated things. Again, is it Dexter Bond? There it is. Boom. Dexter pinned this guy, pointed the finger to him, said he was there. And then the last one is going to be this person is called Mr. Will Wooten. Wooten got pinned again by Dexter Bond. So now they'll all come in and then they'll finger who else is there. You know what I mean? And then we'll follow the rabbit trail wherever it may lead in Fannyland. So all of them getting letters. We'll see who shows up. We'll see who lawyers up. We'll see who, declines. We'll see if Fani goes over to anybody's house and screams at them or whatever. But this was hilarious. So in the meantime, Fani Willis is really excited. If you're looking for something to do for Valentine's Day with your lover, our friend Phil Holloway may have a suggestion for you. He says, wow, check this out. Madam DA Fani is teaming up with Jasmine Crockett for her, quote, inauguration. Clown show emoji. Perfect. How much can she put you down for, America? Who's going? The municipal justice level is only $2,500. You can check out madamda2025.com to see if she takes cash. Maybe we should go over there. Here's what this says. For the love of justice, the inaugural gala of DA Fani, Mistress of Ceremonies, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Texas 30. Still making history, she says. Formal attire is required. Palette for the night. Black, gold, and pink only. So dress accordingly. Otherwise, you're not getting admitted. You have to go home. You can't hang out with Fani and Jasmine tonight. So here's the sponsor levels, which is just outstanding. So if you want to be a really cool person and, you're flush with that USAID money, baby, if you're just flowing in it like you just finished your trans comic book series or whatever, you're feeling rich. Boom. Drop it. Supreme Justice. You're going to get loaded up, man. 210 VIP tables, gala speaking opportunities, 2 recognition slides, digital program placement, all the things. Amazing. If you're more, a little reserved, 20,000 will get you Superior Justice. Not a bad option. Circuit Justice, only 1 table, and you get listed in the committee, but that's it. You get 1/2 of a recognition slide. Maybe you should work harder and you can have a full slide, not be such a loser. So pretty expensive, a little out of my pocketbook, although I would like to go. That would be a wild ride, wouldn't it? Should we go? District Justice level, $7,500. No slides for you. And if you're a peasant, just kind of like a loser, like your municipal justice level, which I think is what that's the Nathan Wade level. That's kind of an insult, isn't it? I think she met Nathan Wade. He was either a magistrate judge or a municipal judge, like city judge, kind of like bottom of the totem pole. So I think that's a diss to him. It's like, losers, cheap ass tickets. So you get 2 tickets. That's all. So about $1,250 a ticket. Dang, son. Individual ticket, $500. VIP ticket, $750. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Phil Holloway wants to go. We'll go celebrate Big Fani in a week or so. All right. So I don't know. Hopefully Phil goes. It's pretty rich though for us. I don't know. That's a lot. We don't have Fani level money. We're not grifting off the taxpayers of Georgia to the tune of $700,000. Thank you, Phil Holloway, for that. I'm going to repost that. So if you guys want to follow Phil, Amazing. All right, so that's Fani Land. She's getting scrutiny by Congress, and she is celebrating with Jasmine Crockett, just having an extravaganza and just living it up in Fani Land. All right, so that's the Fani update. Now let's carry on. Let's talk about the ridiculous FBI and what a thing this is. The FBI has a resistance coin or something. This is a real thing that was posted from our friend Garrett O'Boyle. You remember him when he testified in front of Congress. He posted this. He says, the Justice Department, he's someone who got disciplined by the FBI or retaliated against, rather, by the FBI. He's posting this, still very much connected to people who've got other information and knows what's going on inside behind the scenes. He says, hey, Justice Department and Pam Bondi, subversives at the FBI, this guy Longmire specifically, have now made a graven image of their insubordinate leader called Acting Director Driscoll. And we played a video of this guy earlier in the week when he came out and he gave that little propaganda message. He's like, we're doing good work here, men and women of the FBI. We go, what? Where are you making this video right now? Because your agency is getting scrutinized? Yeah. He says, it's okay, though. Longmire assures the masses, the guy who created this little coin, that you won't get the list, rather that the masses won't get the list of those who get one of these coins. So this guy created a form for other FBI agents to go buy a coin. I'm going to show you what the coin is in a second. Says maybe Elon and DOGE can help out. Interestingly, they have failed to realize that the refusal to follow a legal order regarding work that the FBI had done was more a ploy to protect executive management than to protect the workforce. Now, as anyone who has spent more than a day in the FBI knows, EM has never gone out of their way to spare a few sacrificial underlings like Longmire before. No reason for them to start now unless it's to save themselves. Delaying Cash's nomination only opens up more room for insubordination, failure to follow legal orders, and subversion, which I think is absolutely right. And I'm disappointed that we didn't get voted out of committee yesterday. But we're hopeful Grassley knows what he's doing. Now, these sycophants have labeled the lawful questionnaire as the J6 crap list, right? So if you fill out the form, you're now on the J6 crap list. And apparently the numbers are like 5,000 to 6,000 of them flagged positive to having done something related to the cases, according to reports. So they call it the J6 crap list. Now, under Chrissy Ray, he calls them, amazing, images like the Gadsden flag and the Second Amendment were labeled as symbols of domestic violent extremism. We called that here because they had a whole memo on that. They had a whole, I think, press briefing about that where they said that there were new DVEs and are racially motivated VEs, violent extremists, and HGVEs, homegrown DVEs, and all these. What? You're trying to LGBTQAIXBLL this thing, or what are you doing? Yes, they were. They were trying to come up with new concoctions of new threats that they could permutate every day to justify their existence. But these subversives use imagery from both the Constitution and the Gadsden flag as elements of their idolatrous coins. Now, here's the link if you want to see it for yourself. Now, if you click the link, it has now been deleted, but here is what it looked like over from Garrett O'Boyle. So here was the top of the form. Okay, this is the FBI. These are people apparently still employed there. Sending it out to all their little weird agents. Here's a coin order form. These images are rough drafts and will be revised before the final order. The exact price of the coin is not yet determined, but it will likely be around $10 each, covering cost and shipping. No problem, USAID can probably help. Payment instructions will be provided at a later date. I'll front this for you so we can exist in solidarity together with our resistance coins. Update, I, Longmire, right, identifies himself so you know who he is, am the only one that will get and see the data from this form. Just to get the coins out. Once that is done, I will delete it, okay? DOJ will not get this list. FBI agents are like, you're making a list of who's on the shit list, a crap list, sorry. So here's the form. What is your name? What's your personal email address? They go, oh gosh, that's so great. I want a coin. I'm going to sleep with it under my pillow. Here's the thing. What office are you at? Are you willing to be the point of contact for your office to receive and distribute the coins? They're raising a little cell, a distribution cell within the FBI to distribute previously banned propaganda. Huh. It's very curious. Sounds criminal. Now, how many what would DD coins do you want? You say, wait, Rob, what did you say? What would Jesus do? No. We're talking about the FBI. No, they're not going to do that. No. It's what would D do? What would D do? And who is D? Oh, yeah, it's that guy. Drizz. I guess is his name. Drizz. What would Drizz do? Maybe it's D-Riz? Like, what would D-Riz do? I don't know. Either way, what would Drizz do? Okay, so that's what the FBI, they're like, I love him. He's my savior. What would he do? I have to think about what Drizz would do. The weirdest people you've ever heard about. They were in charge of our law enforcement for a long time. All right, so that was just one side. Here's the back of Drizz. Like, what could you imagine this? Then come over here and fire me, says Drizz. And he's like seated there like he's the president or something. I don't know. Strange. Weird folks. Now, there's one more, which is a different coin. How many J6 crapless coins do you want? So then they're here having to report on a lawful order of the senior executives there, acting directors and deputy acting directors, or what, all the people there, deputy AG and so on, Emil Bove, Todd Blanche, and now Pam Bondi, ordered to report in a form what their involvement was. Okay. I need you to tell me what you did. What work did you do? This is standard operating procedure anywhere. Boss comes in. This is crap. The hell'd you do? I need a report. Tell me what you did. How'd this project go awry? Give me a background. What have you been doing here for the last 4 years working on this project? Give me a report. If you turned around to your boss and said, I'm not going to fill out a report, you're not entitled to know anything about what I've done here. And it's offensive for you to ask me. It's dangerous to America for you to ask me what I've done. It's nuts. Okay. And that's what they're doing. And now they're mocking the whole experience. Now these agents, this guy, and apparently maybe a bunch of people set forms in. I'd love a coin. I was on the J6 crap list, and they're trying to, I guess, repurpose, which looks like defiling to me, the Constitution. Don't tread on me. They, in my opinion, and strong evidence supports it, based on testimony of J6ers who can now speak about these things, that their charges were trumped up, that there were probable cause statements that were exaggerated. They added charges. And more information is going to be released, especially once we get our handles on the DOJ full throttle. So they are creating this little coin. I was on the crap list, and here's the back. Fork in the road, right? That was the email that they sent. This is a fork in the road. Now we're making a change. You're either on board or you're not. Take the resignation, take the payout, or don't. And this is a middle finger, isn't it? That's the FBI. Currently operating with their little coin. So they deleted the form, and shout out to once again, Garrett O'Boyle, who explained that. And if you do go over there and try to click the link, says, looks like the Longmire from FBI Washington got scared. The order form has been deleted. Said it's weird how so many FBI employees are so afraid of the American people. Yeah, we pay their salaries. We want to know what they do. And say who they lift up as idols, even knowing their names. Yeah, it's really pathetic that the FBI is so scared. They smeared everybody's, the J6ers, everybody's from the last time name through the mud. And even if you were somebody who were defending the J6ers, right? You were a conspiracy theorist. If you didn't align with the proper narrative, you got castigated or even censored in many cases, right? For defending them. So it was an onslaught, and now they're wanting to hide because they're little tiny babies. Now, Ken Delanian from NBC said this. In a new memo to the workforce sent last night, Director Driscoll disclosed that he had been ordered by Acting Director Bove to turn over the names of all FBI employees who worked on the J6 cases. The original data he provided only had ID numbers. He said he withheld the names initially to reduce the risk that the identities would be released to the public. Okay, so Driscoll's like not following orders exactly. He's like, I'll give you the data, but it's just the numbers. Driscoll said He sent the names on a classified system. He didn't say why he did it, but it's worth remembering that he could be removed as acting director at any point. He also fired. He's not yet eligible for a government pension. Bove has already laid the groundwork for calling Driscoll insubordinate in a previous memo, and he is being insubordinate. Here's what he wrote. Dear colleagues, as promised, I'm reaching out to you with keep you up to date on our engagement with the DOJ. Earlier today, we were directed to give a list of names. Given our concerns about this, we provided the list on the classified enclave with caveats that appropriately identify the information as law enforcement sensitive. We also reiterated once again our concerns about the safety and the risks posed to you, provided these names become public. All right, so they're complying, sort of. This is also happening. So the FBI Agents Association and other entities suing. And remember, Norm Eisen is representing one of these entities. And they got a settlement that came down today that was signed off on by the judge as it pertains to these names. And here's what it looks like. So they consolidated both of these cases, Jane Doe's and the FBI AA. We covered both these lawsuits earlier in the week, read through both of them. With the consent of the parties, the court defers ruling on the motions. There was a battle happening. There were court hearings and proceedings where they were arguing about the names. Here's the final takeaway. The government will not disseminate the list at issue in these consolidated cases to the public, directly or indirectly, before the court rules on these motions. Now, absent further order, the government may terminate the prescription if at its election by providing 2 business days notice of its intent to terminate. Okay, so like, in other words, you can start to release these, but you got to notify everybody and they'll have time to object so that they can litigate it further. Okay, in other words, they're not going to release the names right now. And I'm not even sure that was part of the intention. Like, we want the names. Obviously, I think the public deserves the names because of transparency and accountability. And we want to know the people responsible for one of the biggest entrapments and cover-ups in our nation's history. We'd love to know who was responsible for that. But from our perspective, I don't think the DOJ has ever said, we're going to put all of their names on like the FBI Washington field office X account and spread their names around every single day like they did. No, all we're asking for is just an accounting. Like, all you have to do is just report what you did. And they're such pathetic babies that they can't even do it appropriately. They have to file a bunch of lawsuits. So the following schedule will continue to govern. More litigation will happen, but the names, at least some of the details, were sent over and they're in the possession of Emil Bove. Now, Trump got asked about USAID and the FBI and the delivery of the names, and here is what he said.
Minister, I have a question for you as well, but Mr. President, I'll start with you. Well, quickly to follow up on what Peter was asking, have you directed Elon Musk to review Pentagon spending, given it's the biggest discretionary spending in the federal budget?
Yes, I have. Pentagon, education, just everything. We're going to go through everything, just as it was so bad with what we just went through with this horrible situation we just went through. And I guess 97% of the people have been dismissed. It was very, very unfortunate. You're not going to find anything like that, but you're going to find a lot. And I've instructed him to go check out education, to check out the Pentagon, which is the military. And, sadly, you'll find some things that are pretty bad, but I don't think proportionally you're going to see anything like we just saw.
Your FBI has turned over a list to the Justice Department of the FBI agents who worked on the January 6 rioters cases. Are you planning to fire the FBI agents who worked on those investigations?
No, but I'll fire some of them because some of them were corrupt. I have no doubt about that. I got to know a lot about that business, that world. I got to know a lot about that world, and we had some corrupt agents, and those people are gone, or they will be gone, and it'll be done quickly and very surgically.
Yes.
Did you have a question for the Prime Minister? Talk up.
Are those the ones who worked on the January 6th?
I don't know. I know we have some that are very corrupt, and we don't like it. We're going to bring back the reputation of the FBI. Kash Patel is going to do a great job. And we're going to bring back the reputation of the FBI, which has been hurt very badly. It's been devastated over the last 4 years.
All right, so the terror, as Andy McCabe called it, in the ranks at the FBI will continue, no doubt, perhaps slightly abated, since they now have at least an order from the court that prohibits this current administration from releasing their names to the public absent further litigation for now. But again, I don't think that that was the DOJ's or the FBI's acting current desire at all. I'm not even sure Kash Patel has wanted to do that specifically, but he'll be taken over, hopefully, very, very soon. All right, now, let's talk about Pam Bondi, who is bringing the ruckus. Pam Bondi, not playing around, recently sworn in as the new Attorney General and is going directly after Sanctuary City number 1, Chicago. She explained how this was going down when she was on with Sean Hannity and was responding to questions about launching the very first lawsuit. Here is what she said.
They are choosing illegal aliens over the safety and security of their own citizens and the men and women of law enforcement who are out there trying to protect their citizens. Not only did we sue today the city of Chicago, we sued the state of Illinois, we sued the mayor, we sued the governor, and we sued others. And let me be very clear, if you don't comply with federal law, you're going to be next.
Yeah! Let's go, Pam. Woo! Got little shivers there. Oh, pretty good. Like Chris Matthews. Thrill up my leg. Wow. So here you can see is the lawsuit, and she wasn't playing around. She is suing everybody. Here it comes from the civil division, from the United States attorneys, seen here in Illinois, and everybody's on this list. We got J.B. Pritzker, governor of Illinois, Brandon Johnson, mayor of Chicago. We got the Chicago Police Superintendent, Cook County Board of Commissioners, president of the Board of Commissioners, and the sheriff. Everybody on the list. You're all getting sued. So here is the crux of the claim. She says, look, within hours of assuming the president, Trump declared a national emergency at the border, said we got illegal entry of aliens in our country. They're here unlawfully committing crimes. And also, what is a bigger problem that further exacerbates all of this, some of these aliens find safe havens from federal law enforcement detections in your cities, in your sanctuary cities, living amongst Americans who are innocent, who may later become victims of their crimes. It says this national crisis is critical. We bring this declaratory and injunctive action, so the court needs to say something and do something to stop the state of Illinois and its other subdivisions from all the people we listed from enforcing their laws, right? They've got these laws called the Way Forward Act and the Trust Act and the Welcoming City Act and more. All of those are designed to, and in fact, do interfere and discriminate against the federal government in their enforcement of immigration law. Now, the United States has well-established, preeminent and preemptive authority to regulate immigration. That authority comes from the Constitution and numerous acts of Congress and binding U.S. Supreme Court precedent. Now, indeed, Congress even last week gave us more powers under the Lake and Riley Act, which we saw was signed by the president. It mandates the federal detention of illegals who are accused of these crimes: theft, burglary, assault, and any crime that causes death or serious bodily injury. You have to hold them. You can't release them, even if your laws say the same. Now, both Pritzker and Brandon Johnson sued here in their official capacities, they're the defendants. They profess a shared interest in the federal government in enforcing immigration laws to remove these people, okay? In other words, they don't even know what's good for them. And are not acting in their own interests. Last week, Pritzker, well, let me start by being clear that when we're talking about violent criminals who've been convicted and who are undocumented, he said, we don't want them in our state. Okay, I was going to have to say. So he's like in agreement with Trump, and they're pointing that out. They're saying, look, they agree with us. He just said, for crying out loud, we want them out of the country. We hope they do get deported. And if that's who they're picking up, we're all for it. They said, well, hello, your laws, Governor, are obstructing that from happening. You said you want us to come help, but your laws don't allow it. Upon belief, they say, the conduct of the people in Chicago in minimally enforcing immigration has resulted in countless criminals being released in Chicago who should have been held and detained and then deported. There were some numbers about 13,500 aliens in Illinois, lodging 11,000 detainers. Now, for those arrested, many were charged with serious crimes. Now, but this law, the Illinois Way Forward Act and the Trust Act, and this one, the Chicago law, the Welcoming City Ordinance, and this one, the Cook County law, all impede the feds. These provisions intentionally obstruct the sharing of information that was envisioned by Congress, impairs federal detention, doesn't allow us to remove dangerous criminals, and stop the effectuation of arrest warrants. In fact, your laws restrict information sharing. Detainers have not been honored, and the supremacy clause of the U.S. Constitution prohibits them from singling out the federal government from adverse treatment, and that's what they're doing. All of these laws are invalid and should be enjoined. We know the jurisdiction. We know the parties. They say the federal immigration law arises from the Constitution. The president has the authority to take care, and we're going to come back to this. Take a look at this. Take care. That capital C is important. Put a pin in that, because that's what the Constitution says. Take care that the laws be faithfully executed. The Supremacy Clause mandates that the Constitution is supreme when it's in conflict. Now, Congress has exercised authority. Homeland and more are all empowered to act. And then recently, on January 29th, Trump signed Lake and Riley into play. Now, Congress has authorized states and localities to communicate, and they're not doing that right now. Illinois' Trust and Act and Way Forward laws interfere. And you can see they're just going to go through each law by law, so we can really fast forward through quite a bit of that. But here, they adopted this back in 2011 in Cook County. And the combined effect of all of these, when you look at them together, it prohibits the most basic, even the most basic cooperation with the feds. Congress, in comity with the states in a friendly manner, permitted state and local jurisdictions to fully punish aliens prior to removal. But Congress crafted a statutory scheme, that clearly envisioned being able to detain and remove aliens. That was their intent, but they are prohibiting that from operating expeditiously. Chicago's failure to provide exceptions to its prohibition, they stop you from cooperating with the feds without any exceptions, is in conflict with the federal laws. Because of the challenge laws, Homeland under Kristi Noem lacks the ability to detain these people. They lack access to the facilities, even where they're authorized to do so. By restricting this basic access, they are making it difficult and dangerous to rearrest aliens and to determine who's appropriate to take into custody or not. And so they're allowing them to skirt around the rules. And so there are violations here. You're violating the Supremacy Clause. Your rules are subordinate to our rules. There's unlawful discrimination against the federal government. So they're exercising their state power against the federal government to discriminate against the federal government laws. And ultimately, here's what Pam Bondi is asking for. Says, we want a judgment declaring that the Trust Act and these other laws, the Way Forward Act and everything that you see up and down the chain there, are invalid. So a declaration. They want a judgment also declaring that these other ordinances are invalid. And they want injunctions to stop them, stop the sheriff, stop the governor, stop Brandon Johnson, Chicago, from enforcing any of those laws. So we now will have information and access accorded to the federal government, signed by Brett Shumate, Drew Ensign, and others, attorneys for the United States, the opening salvo in the Sanctuary City battle. And Chicago is just going to be the first one. Of course, there will be others. And this will be a jurisdictional battle as well. We're going to see maybe even circuits, kind of split on this stuff. Which of these laws are valid, which are not? What does the federal government have supremacy over? What do they not? And this is the case for those who are following along at home. So that got filed. Let's see. The judge says there will be a hearing set for April 15th and April 8th. And follow the requirements set forth, possibility of settlement, and basic stuff, right? So that's the latest. So we'll come back. This case we'll keep an eye on and see what happens with the sanctuary cities. Now, other states are jumping in. City of Portland, Oregon today says we are a sanctuary city. We're openly calling ourselves that. We're focused on making Portland safe and welcoming for all our community members, especially illegal aliens. We object to the federal government attempting to defund safety, infrastructure, and other critical services in our city. Portland is obligated to upholding both state laws and our values, and we're prepared to make that case in court. So we should just ship all illegals to Portland now. Now, the lawsuit, which will be filed today from them, alleges that recent executive orders illegally harm cities and more. And so their lawsuit is coming, and JB Pritzker is, standing firm. Our friend at Western Lensman, great person to follow on X, is responsible for clipping this for us today. Thank you, sir. And here is what JB Pritzker had to say.
It's a massive effort to distract from what they are doing across the country, to take away things that working class, middle class people, families, the most vulnerable really need. Maybe they, as they come and try to attack the state of Illinois, and that's what they're doing, the lawsuits are against laws on the books in Illinois. I mean, unlike Donald Trump, we follow the law in Illinois. Now, maybe they put up with this kind of garbage in Florida, which is the home state of the head of the DOJ. But in Illinois, we have grit. We are tough. We are strong. And Donald Trump has no idea what he's up against when he attacks Illinois.
All right.
So we're here. We're going to stay here. We're going to keep fighting for lowering costs on people, on building up jobs, on, holding back the tariffs, whatever we can do to make this a great state. We're going to continue to do, despite what they may be doing to attack, again, working families across our state.
They're not attacking working families. They're going after people who've broken the law and are in the country illegally, who are making the lives of other American citizen working families more difficult. So JB Pritzker, Portland, Oregon, and the rest of them are going to stand fast and oppose Trump and Pam Bondi. But of course, we're going to keep our eye on this case. Thanks for subscribing and joining as we do. All right, so now let's turn our attention to what's happening with the USAID, because this has just been a joyous occasion. A beautiful sight to see. USAID and their sign going bye-bye, being pulled down today by this American hero perched atop the construction crane and removing each letter one by one in beautiful fashion. Here is this remarkable scene from today. Heaven. I was going to call it a scissor lift, but it's not. What is it called? It's like a person mover? I don't know what it's called. All right. So anyways, awesome job. That guy had the best job in America today, and I hope he's celebrating accordingly. Now, they're fighting this, okay? So as the sign is coming down, unions are going bananas. Happening now, said Kyle Cheney, reporting over from Politico, who may or may not be state media. Lawyers for the government say at the end of the day, 2,200 USAID employees will be placed on paid leave. 500 are already on leave. 600 will be kept on. Lawyers for USAID workers say that this essentially means employees will, within hours, be cut off from government systems, including people in war-ravaged areas who rely on security updates. It will also imperil partner organizations who depend on those workers. And yes, we know everyone's going to die. Grandmas are going to drop out of the sky. It's going to be horrible. A boom lift, a cherry picker, and a victory crane. All great answers. Yeah, and I'm sure One of those is right. A freedom lift. That's incredible. I'm mad at myself that I didn't think of that. All right, so that was happening. Now, there's also a lawsuit that is currently underway. You can see Judge Carl Nichols called a 3 p.m. hearing today, and they're suing to, I guess, put the sign back on because they really want their money. Let me show you what is happening. This got filed yesterday, and then we'll check the docket and see what the latest is, which I have there. Now, here is the lawsuit. Okay, put our sign back on. Give us our corrupt money. Here's the lawsuit. American Foreign Service Association suing along with the American Federation Government of Employees. Okay, so like two groups of employees, unions, says Trump, State Department, USAID's listed here, Treasury Department, and Marco Rubio all listed as defendants, along with Treasury Scott Bessent. Here's what these babies say. Okay, Your Honor, and this is filed in D.C., so we got to be cautious, right? D.C., it's like a hellscape of law. They say, all right, this action seeks to stop a series of unconstitutional and illegal actions taken by Trump that have systematically dismantled USAID. And we're going to enjoy reading this one. Now, these actions have generated a global humanitarian crisis, I'm sure, by abruptly halting the crucial work of USAID employees, grantees, and contractors, which was I think 9 out of 10 media journal companies in Ukraine, for example, right? They have cost thousands of American jobs and have imperiled national security interests. Very dramatic. Now, the first of these actions came heroically on January 20th, when Trump, president, punks, issued an executive order titled Eliminating Foreign Aid, whatever, the official thing. 90-day pause. And just to be clear, it was a pause, the official order. This is important. Reevaluating and realigning U.S. foreign aid. He's not deleting the program or getting rid of it. And United States Foreign Development Assistance, says the State Department and then Rubio directed the immediate issuance of stop work orders on all foreign assistance awards. It was beautiful. I remember it. Brings a tear to my eye. USAID grantees and contractors reeled as they were without notice or process, constrained from carrying out their work, alleviating poverty. Yeah. Of Democrats, disease, and humanitarian crises. Rubio subsequently was named as acting director of USAID and said there's going to be a reorganization of this, and then delivered. Now, shortly after the funding was frozen, over 1,000 contractors and thousands more employees were laid off or furloughed. The humanitarian consequences of Trump's actions have been catastrophic. USAID provides life-saving food like lobster and crab cakes, and medicine like abortion pills, and supports hundreds of thousands of people across the world, like journalists at the BBC. Now, without agency partners to implement this mission, U.S.-led medical clinics, aka trans chop shops, soup kitchens with lobster bisque, and refugee assistance programs for when you're just completely stressed out at work and you just have to go to a beach or something, and DC is just really wearing you out. You just have to go to the Bahamas. Now you're a refugee down there, and USAID will pay for it as long as you work on your trans comic books. And countless other programs shuttered to an immediate halt. And their hair appointments got canceled too. Unbelievable. Days ago, Musk and other members of the DOGE, they call it the so-called DOGE committee. That's the official title. It was renamed in an executive order. Gutted what remained of the agency. Members of DOGE reportedly demanded access to classified systems without requisite security clearances. And where's your footnote on that one? Yeah, where's your footnote on that one? Look, USAID security officials who attempted to block them were placed on administrative leave. So that's footnote 3. So I guess that has the Margaret Brennan. Great. 2 security officials placed on leave, sources say, because they reportedly tried to access things from them. Now, Musk posted on February 3rd, and it was a great post, that they're feeding the USAID into the wood chipper. Amazing. And that same day, the headquarters shut down. More than 1,000 employees, including some in war zones, were locked out of their computer accounts. The government website now indicates that all direct hire personnel will be placed on leave globally. Not a single one of Trump's actions to dismantle USAID were taken pursuant to congressional authorization. He needed to talk to Pelosi about it. And pursuant to federal statute, Congress is the only entity that may lawfully dismantle the agency. And again, his executive order is not dismantling it, it's reorganizing it. It still exists. There's 293 people there, or 4, whatever the number is. Almost 300 people. Do you know how many people that is? Like a full airplane. Still there. Still USAID. They don't need the building anymore. It's still around. Now, given the severe ongoing harms suffered by us and Trump's intent to inflict imminent future harm, it's like he's not attacking you. He's ending a wrecked program. Plaintiffs now file this complaint, and we're going to seek a temporary restraining order to stop Trump, to reverse these unlawful actions, and to halt any further steps to dissolve the agency until the court has an opportunity to consider the issues on the merits. Now, you're going to see a lot of this, okay? The floodgates are opening with the lawsuits now. And they're all done to delay. Like, they don't want Trump to take the signs off the buildings. So just pause. Like, we're just begging for a pause. Like, we don't even know if we have the right to do it, but just let us fully consider the issues. Like, that's it. Just give us some time. They're trying to stall the momentum. Now, we know who these people are, and they're going to give us their legal framework here, and they're going to tell us that USAID was supposed to be an independent agency, and the president could reorganize this, but he had 60 days to do it. And then Clinton said, I'm not going to make it under the State Department. And then the Congress has reappropriated funds for them all the time. And they've said that in these appropriation acts, the president cannot, right, explicitly restricted the ability to reorganize USAID, saying you can't do that because we said you can't. The Appropriations Act defined reorganization or even downsizing, right? So you can't even fire anybody, according to Congress. You can't downsize this. You can't eliminate. You can't consolidate. You can't do anything. Signed by Congress. The Appropriations Act imposes notification requirements as well. And he's got to notify us and more. Now, Trump's DOJ is going to come and they're going to say that's not what any of this says. And the president has Article 2 powers to execute the law. And that stuff like this, we're going to have this battle. It's going to come up definitely this term about the true separation of powers. And what can Congress ultimately mandate that the president do? Like, does he have to check the doors are locked every night before he goes to bed, kind of a thing? Like, how minute and granular is the operation of the executive branch? How much can it be controlled by Congress? Because they're saying you can't redesign, you can't reorganize, you can't do anything, essentially, right? This restructuring act, you're prohibited from doing any of this. Now, other spineless presidents have just said, I guess I can't do anything because Congress said I can't do it. But it's a co-equal branch of government. And the president has a big responsibility to take care of the United States. And so here's what they're saying. Here's the factual allegations. Money was frozen. We know that. And by the way, it's only a 90-day period. Okay, so relax, you guys. I don't know what they're so freaked out about. Okay, it's 90 days to slow the spread of corruption. It's only going to be 90 days. We're going to give you back your businesses and your livelihoods. And we're not going to make you put anything in your bodies or anything. All your freedoms are going to be restored just after 90 days. Just after this little investigatory period, we're all in this together. Okay, we have to save America. We're all in this together. So just take 90 days off. Everything will be fine. And we're not even going to shove syringes in your face. How about that? So 90 days. 4 days later, then Rubio directed his staff to halt funds. In the following days, stop work orders went out everywhere. People started dying immediately. Defendants then begun purging agency employees, like music to my ears. 65 senior career staff were put on leave on January 26th, not even a week. By January 29th, hundreds of contractors fired, laid off. William Malyeska, top HR person, reportedly refused the directive to put thousands more on staff on leave. He's like, I'm not firing them. No, I'm going to go. And he's fired too. So as a result of this, everyone's dying. Okay. HIV spreading everywhere, humanitarian operations at refugee camps, thousands of people suffering, famine, starving, already dying. Toddlers are dead, deprived of rehydration salts. They got diarrhea. Oh no, toddlers with diarrhea. Doctors at funded medical facilities are treating malnourished children. They're going to die too, all because the Democratic grift is coming to an end. Yes, we know. As chaos engulfed the agency, State Department issued 2 waivers to its halt. They said, actually, we're going to waive life-saving humanitarian assistance. So go feed the kids and don't let the people die. Okay, so how about that? There you go. Core life-saving medicine and other things, but it's going to be temporary. So find other sources. And second, they then announced a limited waiver of the HIV stuff. Oh, so they're not actually going to be dying of AIDS in Africa. But they say these waivers offered little to no relief for USAID partners, though, who suffered from their freezes in money. So some people are still getting funded, even according to their own lawsuit, but not their BFFs. They were not self-executing, so contractors scrambled to reach out, but because agency staff had suffered severe cuts, nobody knows where to get their money. The agency's dissolved. Not really. I mean, it's still there. There's almost 300 people there. But the remaining functions were halted. On February 1st, Elon and DOGE, so-called, it's their official name, very, very rude of them, reportedly demanded access again to that story. Now, that same day, USAID was taken offline. By Sunday, contract personnel began reporting they were locked out of their emails. You're fired. Eventually, more than 1,000 employees, including some in war zones, were completely locked, which in Ukraine, right? All of them in Ukraine, probably. We saw the report from Reporters Without Borders, reposted by WikiLeaks, explaining that there were 9 out of 10 media companies in Ukraine getting USAID funds were completely locked out of their computer accounts. On information and belief, most, if not all, received no prior notice that they would be losing access. Womp womp. Those agency staffers still receiving emails were told that the building would be closed. The email directed that any replies be sent to Gavin Kligger, a special advisor to DOGE. That's what a great job that would be too. He's just getting like 1,000 emails from a bunch of screeching liberals. I can't get my watercolors for tomorrow. According to reports, members of DOGE also got access by Monday. USAID, the world's premier humanitarian assistance and international development agency, was in complete disarray. Musk stated that he had spent the previous weekend feeding USAID into the wood chipper. They're so mad about that. It's repeated. He also claimed with regards to the USAID stuff, I went over it with Trump in detail and he agreed that we would shut it down. So they say, oh, you can't shut it down. Consistent with Trump's efforts to shut down the agency. I think it's shut down. I think he meant that kind of colloquially, right? Like, oh, we're shutting it. It's going to be like 300 dudes. That's it. Consistent with this, Trump appointed Rubio. He became acting administrator. Rubio then sent a letter to Congress saying, you're on notice. We're done. We're going to initiate consultations and we're going to decide who's actually getting the real money here. Rubio said that state and other pertinent entities, well, yeah, we're consulting with you. There, you're on notice. There you go. You got it. But they say it's too late. The USAID has already been substantially dismantled. It has no independent leadership. Rubio has assumed the mantle of acting director and delegated it out. U.S. lawmakers concerned about the dissolution of the agency were reportedly blocked from entering by staff. Said you guys should contact the State Department. Amazing. On Tuesday, Trump told a reporter, I think so, if he was going to wind down USAID. Then the State Department ordered the shutdown of all overseas mission. The same day, State Department placed thousands of employees on leave, directing them, don't enter the premises. Access to your systems are gone. attempt to use your position or authority with USAID in any way is not allowed. Throughout the week, workforce members reported that key portions of the infrastructure was inaccessible. Such infrastructure includes this thing called Phoenix, which is their core financial management system. Oh no, they're all logging into their portal to submit their little invoices and getting declined. So they say this is disastrous. Among countless other consequences of Trump's halting, work has shut down efforts to prevent children from dying. The kids stopped pharmaceutical clinical trials, probably from Pfizer, and threatened or Bill Gates, right? Yeah, why did he can fund it? And threaten a global resurgence in HIV. Yeah. Deaths are inevitable. 300 babies would not, oh my gosh. Already 300 babies that would not have had HIV now do. Donald Trump gave 300 babies HIV. Can you believe this? So did Marco Rubio and Scott Bessent too. And now 303 babies have HIV thanks to them. And 304. Unbelievable. We're contributing to this, all of us. Thousands of girls and women will die from pregnancy and childbirth. Without judicial intervention, Judge, it's only going to get worse. The actions that Trump intends to take today will doom billions of dollars in projects in 120 countries. Yes, we know. Including security assistance, there it is, for Ukraine and other countries, as well as development for clean water, job training, and education for Taliban schoolgirls in Afghanistan. This is horrific. The injury is going to be worldwide. And these people, they say, we save the planet. They think that's just how they think of themselves. Like they think of themselves like gods. Like we're saving all, I'm sure there are some people doing good work in these issues in some components, but this is not the vehicle for that. Not anymore. Plaintiff AFSA exists to support these values, blah, blah, blah. We do a lot of work. We're incredible people. We're like gods. We save babies and stop deaths. We've got largest federal union in the nation, 800,000 federal civilian employees, hopefully a lot less soon. Says our members are going to be irreparably harmed. We get lots of money off this grift. We've been shut out of computer systems. We can't even recoup our reimbursements or access our health benefits, of course. So what do they want? They say this is a violation of separation of powers. Wow, they're saying, oh, Trump is violating the separation of powers. Okay, saying, and yeah, USAID was created by statute. Trump is trying to resolve this. It exceeds his authority. He has to do exactly what we say, and we're going to suffer injury if he's not stopped. The public interest favors this because of life-saving humanitarian work performed throughout the world. Again, this is America. Okay, we care about America. The rest of the world has an opportunity now to figure out these solutions on their own, and the American grift is over by USAID and its contractors and caused thousands of Americans to lose their jobs. Thousands of Democrats in D.C., rephrased. Now, here's what they say. Plaintiffs restate and reallege all paragraphs above as set forth here. And I wanted to point this out because some people do this. They say Article 2 of the Constitution confers upon the president the duty to take care. But as you saw in that prior lawsuit, the word in the Constitution, care, is capitalized. It matters that that is capitalized. It's care. It's not like you just take whatever Congress hands to you and you just do it like a stupid Democrat automaton like Joe Biden. Just sign this document, right? And everybody else handles it. You have to take care. You have to exercise some care. What does that mean? If Congress is telling you to do something that is unconstitutional or not under the care of the United States, you don't do that thing. You have some discretion in this. It's take care that the laws be faithfully executed. you don't just do whatever the hell Congress tells you to do without questioning it. Okay. Otherwise, Congress is the executive branch. Now, this is subject to litigation, and I'm totally open to the opportunity and possibility that Trump makes these arguments and the courts come in and say, you lose. You actually have to do this thing, execute the law according to how it's prescribed by the legislature. But that pushback by the executive branch against the legislature to say your interpretation of what the law says is one thing, my interpretation is a different thing. So you don't get to tell us, this is the executive branch speaking, Congress, that we're going to do things exactly according to your prescription. We can interpret what you're saying and execute it accordingly to actually take care. And they know that it's a capital C, whoever wrote this, but they're just being dishonest here. It's like, take care. Like, I'll just take, whatever. It doesn't mean anything. It matters. And when there's a disagreement there, when the legislature says, you have to have USAID and fund whatever trans all over the world, the executive says, that's not actually what the law says, and I don't have to do that. The courts come in and say what the law is. It's how it works. This process is great. I'm thrilled we're having this conversation, because what has been happening for far too long is they have been playing patty cake back and forth. Congress says, take all the money in the world. Executive says, great, we'll create USAID. Congress can ransack it and grift off of it for years, and everybody looks the other way because the skids are being greased. And enough. So how about the strong executive now says, no, you guys can prove it in a court of law, like is happening right now, that we have to fund these things. And then the Congress can look at all of this, the courts can look at all of this and say, yeah, he has discretion in these areas, and the executive branch, generally speaking, has broad discretion over the execution of the law because that's their job, and battle it out accordingly. And we're going to win some, we're going to lose some. Congress will respond, but let's do it. Now, the take care clause, right? So they're being dishonest when you see that. The take care clause is judicially enforceable against presidential actions, and Trump's actions violate that because there are statutes establishing the USAID, and he can't act in contravention to the statute. Again, Congress has their opinion on what the statute says. Trump has his opinion, and the executive is now pushing back on Congress for the first time ever, and they're freaked out about it. They say their unilateral dissolution, it's not been dissolved yet, violates the statutory limitation. Again, it's not been dissolved. It's still in existence. So count 4 says, and again, this is the APA Act, Administrative Procedure Act, and they dropped Trump from this, as you'll notice, against everybody else except Trump, because he's the president and he's not an agency, so he can make decisions. So they conveniently left him out of that. Under the APA, a court shall hold unlawful and set aside agency action if it's arbitrary and capricious, an abuse of discretion, or otherwise not in accordance with law. So Rubio, Bissett, and all of them, they're acting arbitrarily and capriciously, and they didn't give the people who are being fired notice, and it's a violation of their rights. And first of all, they're all on leave. They're all still getting paid. They don't have access to their grift anymore, but it's a pause, right? They're all being, as we just saw reported by Kyle Cheney, they're on leave. 500 are already on leave. 2,200 more will be on leave. So they're not even fired yet. So what is the actual harm? Saying they're acting capricious and arbitrarily, I don't think so. This is going to be fun to watch what the DOJ says in response. So they're they want declare unlawful the shutdown of USAID and turn on the grift, turn on the online portal so that everybody can log in and just get their checks cleared. Issue a temporary restraining order. Cease actions to shut down the operations. Reopen the buildings. Restore all computer systems and web pages. Appoint independent acting director of USAID. Wow. They want the court to appoint someone to manage the agency and turn it back on. They are so pathetic. These are your government employee unions who are representing the government employees saying, put our systems back on. Restore funding for all grants, all contracts, all agreements. Refrain from putting anyone else on leave, and recall anybody who is on furlough, and recall all mandatory evacuation orders. turn on the floodgates. We want our money. And issue a permanent injunction barring executive agencies from dissolving the USAID absent authorization of Congress. We want attorney's fees too, signed by Lauren Bateman and Caitlin Golden and all these other attorneys at this firm throwing their name on this one. So counsels for the plaintiffs submit this to try to stop the elimination of the biggest grift that the Democrats have ever lost in their lives. But the building has now been unburdened by what has been. DOGE on X shared these two final images. U.S. Agency for International Development and Democratic Grift, now deleted. Goodbye. Elon said the building is now occupied by Border Patrol, which is going to be a much better use of it. And of course, here is one more video of the sign coming down. Beautiful. And they put duct tape over the actual name on the sign. See that black duct tape? Deleted. Shout out to that guy, cherry picker guy. Shout out to Boom Lift guy, Freedom Lift guy. Crane of Freedom. All right, so we let that play a couple times because it was so enjoyable. But here is more. Democrats are now freaked that they're going over to other agencies like the Department of Education, the Pentagon, Department of Labor, and more. So this senator called Ed Markey, who is from Massachusetts, says we were just denied entrance into the EPA now after asking to meet with a DOGE representative. More to come. So they tried to break into the EPA, insurrect it. And this American hero says, get out. You're not authorized. I don't care if you're a senator from Massachusetts or wherever. You're not coming in. So then they went out over to this guy, and Benny clipped this one, said Waters and other Democrat members of Congress then tried to break into the Department of Education. And Fox News was there with cameras recording.
Do they know that we're here? Max, ask the question again. That's important.
Were you told, are you making this decision to stand in front of the store on your own behalf, on behalf of the Department of Education, or were you told to come out here and block members of Congress from going at the desk?
Doing my job.
So everybody's free. What is that?
We're doing our jobs.
We're trying to say
It's a non-responsive.
Show them your ID. Were you told to stand here, or did you decide to stand here and block members of Congress from entering the Department of Education?
Access
to federal buildings.
We're allowed in there.
So a private security contractor.
Do you know who members of
blocking
Congress are?
members of
Sure,
Congress.
we're all members of Congress.
Maybe he doesn't understand. Do you
A private
understand who
security
members of Congress are?
contractor is making the decision to block members of Congress from a public access entrance.
I don't think he knows.
You have the authority as a private security contractor to block members of Congress. That has been knighted and granted to you.
You have to at least let us go to the desk.
Yeah.
Sending the guns out.
Oh my, look at that. Who told you to do this? Open the door.
I'll see you in it.
So do you understand who members of Congress
I got
are?
it.
Well,
And you don't
who
care.
are we then?
I got the job.
You don't care.
We have a job to do.
We're not dangerous people. We're not, I don't know, we're members of security. There are no thieves and thugs out here. We're members of Congress. We're
Don't know about that.
We're teachers.
Begging.
There's our ID, right
We
there.
were elected to do this.
This is our
I've
job.
never seen one of those.
Our job. We're doing our job.
Get out.
Oh, wow.
You're securing this building against who?
Members of Congress.
Who are you
The people.
protecting in
It's
there?
members of the people's
So
house.
this is the beginning of full transparency of this administration.
That's right.
The administration that talked about they're going to open the doors to all of these things and show the American public what is going on. They won't
Transparency.
even open the door to this building
That's
to
right.
members
Go
of
to the visitor's
Congress.
desk.
We are not posing any threat here. No, we are not dangerous people. We have not done
won't even
anything.
let us
We're
talk to
trying
the
to
Department of
request
Education.
a meeting, and they won't. They have a private security contractor who on his own is making decisions on behalf of the Department of Education.
We are members of Congress. Hayes,
At the
what you're
all
saying is they're
access
not,
center.
they allow billionaires and his minions to come in
I don't
to
know
this
who
building.
he is. I don't know who he is, but I know who I
they
am.
allow-
And I'm a member of Congress with
Oh.
oversight responsibilities trying to
Don't
request
you know
a
who I
meeting,
am?
and a private security contractor is not allowing me to enter the building.
They allow billionaires to go in this building, but
access
not representatives. They allow
all
billionaires and cronies to go in, but not, there's a lack of transparency here. The members of Congress, the people's representatives are not allowed in. This is not transparent.
You're a little stupid, Pete.
Not only are they not letting us in, now they've called the Department of Homeland Security. We are members of Congress.
Good. Get out.
The Department of Education, and they're treating us.
Kids deserve to have a
Yeah,
go in and
absolutely.
fight for them.
Yeah, the kids.
Children of this country deserve
Yeah.
that battle.
This is a public institution. This is not Russia. Let the camera see him. Let the camera see him. This man here. We are members of Congress. Come in. They're blocking us.
See this man here, who is a federal employee. He told us.
That's not.
Are you a federal employee? Huh?
Yes.
No, he said he's a federal employee. We pay him. We raise money to make sure that we have a Department of Education. Everybody that's hired at the Department of Education are here because we pay for them to be here. He's standing here today, blocking the door, and he can't give us a good reason why he's blocking this door.
Make sure they see right here. All access entrance.
Well, and I think it should be
close.
clear to parents in the United States. If you want to advocate on behalf of your children, you are not allowed to come into this building where you pay taxes. Parents who have children who are disabled, access is being blocked. You voted. You voted for members of Congress to advocate on behalf of your children. Children with disabilities, for young women who have been victims of sexual assault in our classrooms, on our school grounds. Members of OCR are fighting for your children. We are not allowed in the building to talk to them. We are not allowed to advocate
All right.
on behalf of America's
Yeah,
children.
we got it.
America, we have a problem.
All right. Yeah, we got it. So that's what the Democrats are up to. Goodness. So that poor guy should be awarded some sort of medal, a big one, something for, courage under fire, whatever. Hopefully he is celebrating tonight for surviving a Democrat insurrection. So shout out to him for holding the line. Here's another angle of that and the lecture from this angle.
Excuse me.
Are you prepared to stand here all night if we decide to stay?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, you just stay right there.
All right.
You just stay and stand.
Why aren't you letting us go to that desk like we were able to do last year?
He's not a U.S. employee. I
This is
don't know
a
who he
public
is.
institution.
Elon Musk hire you?
Who do you work for?
Who do you work for?
Who do you qualified to be? Are you even
Yeah, I guess I'll stand here all night.
For the
We trying to
He is a federal employee. He just said that.
federal employee working for the
we trying to
Yes, I'm a federal employee, you weird psycho Democrats. Get out of my face. Look at him right there. It's like that Ben Affleck meme. He's like, oh my gosh. All these people. You're not allowed in. I don't care if you're a congressperson or not. Get out. All right, here's the president talking about USAID. He got asked about this today when he was hanging out with the prime minister of Japan called Shigeru Ishiba, and this is what it sounded like.
Is Time Magazine still in business? I didn't even know that. Elon is doing a great job. He's finding tremendous fraud and corruption and waste. You see it with the USAID, but you're going to see it even more so with other agencies and other parts of government. He's got a staff that's fantastic. He's wanted to be able to do this for a long time, and everybody else knew it was existent, but I think never so much when you look at USAID. That's a fraud. The whole thing is a fraud. Very little being put to good use. Every single line that I look at in terms of events and transactions is either corrupt or ridiculous. And we're going to be doing that throughout government. And I think we're going to be very close to balancing budgets for the first time in many years. I think we're going to be very close to, in addition to money's coming in from tariffs, et cetera, et cetera. But no, he's doing a very good job. I'm very happy with it.
Will you put Elon Musk up on the podium for us to ask him some questions, Mr. President?
Bring Elon in. We want to talk to him. Yeah, who doesn't? All right, so here's J.D. Vance now dunking on Ro Khanna. Ro Khanna is responding to J.D. Vance, and they're bringing back Big Balls, I think, is coming back in the House. And we're looking forward to that. You may have caught that story. We talked a lot about Big Balls today on the members only stream this morning. I know that sounds weird, but he was a young kid. Wait, what? That makes it sound worse. So there was a Big Balls story, and he resigned, and now he's coming back because they were old posts when he was a kid. JD said, look, here's my view. I obviously disagree with some of Elez's posts, but I don't think stupid social media activity should ruin a kid's life. We shouldn't reward journalists who try to destroy people ever. So I say bring him back. If he's a bad dude or a terrible member of his team, okay, fire him for that. Don't fire him for his social media name, Mr. Big Balls. Now, that obviously is something that has come up multiple times. And where was I clicking through to? Apologies for all these tab changes here. That's right. J.D. Vance went back, and then Ro Khanna said this. Are you going to tell him to apologize for saying normalize Indian hate before this rehire? Just asking for the sake of both of our kids, says Ro Khanna, right? Very dramatic, like kids are going to be murdered. J.D. Vance said, for the sake of both of our kids, grow up, Ro. Racist trolls on the internet, while offensive, don't threaten my kids. You know what does? A culture that denies grace to people who make mistakes. A culture that encourages congressmen to act like whiny children. Well done, JD. And that's the game. All right, so Dan Goldman is out complaining about them. We'll skip over him because he sucks. Ed Martin, who is the current acting U.S. Attorney General, or is now at what, I don't know what position he is now, because Pam Bondi is the current Attorney General. He's still at the DOJ. And here is what he sent in follow-up to Elon Musk now that there have been threats lodged at Elon's DOGE team. Ed Martin, U.S. Attorney from the District of Columbia. Amazing. So here is the letter. It says, Dear Steve and Elon, thank you for the referral of individuals and networks who appear to be stealing government property and or threatening government employees. After your referral, as is my practice, I will begin an inquiry. Now, please let me reiterate again. If people are discovered to have broken the law or even acted simply unethically, we will investigate them and we will chase them to the end of the earth to hold them accountable. We will not rest or cease in this. No one should abuse American taxpayer dollars, nor American taxpayer workers. No one is above the law. I am proud that we've been able to assist local law enforcement in protecting the DOGE workers and others over the past week or so. A safe DC is a priority for President Trump and all of us. Please keep in touch and continue to refer matters to me as soon as possible. Edward R. Martin Jr., U.S. Attorney from DC. Amazing to have him in that office, TCB, and taking care of business. Now, here was a little bit more on that exchange. They were asking Trump about the Elon photo in Time. Here was the bit of this. We caught the second half in the prior clip.
Mr. President, do you have a reaction to the new Time magazine cover that has Elon Musk sitting behind your Resolute desk?
タイムマガジンにイーロン・マスクが大統領の机の後ろで座っている写真がありますけども、それに関するコメントは何かありますか?
Is Time magazine still in business? I didn't even know. Elon is doing.
He's doing a great job. We heard the rest of the clip, but of course, Time magazine may have less funds coming in now that USAID is no longer a person, an entity that will be funding the media. And when we're asking about Mr. Big Balls, even Trump's on board. Bring him back.
So, talk about the cutting effort. One of the DOGE engineers was fired for some inappropriate posts. The vice president says, bring him back. What do you say?
Well, I don't know about the particular thing, but if the vice president said that, did you say that? I'm with the vice president. Thank you, Peter. Yeah, go ahead, please. Yes, red dress.
Mr. Big Balls coming back into DOGE right where he belongs. All right, my friends. So it has been a beautiful stream and an amazing Friday. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're just joining us and you want to hit the rewind button, let's do a quick recap on what we covered on the day. We had some Fani Land updates because 4 people from her office, Michael Hill, Trina Swanson, this person called Donald Wakeford, and Will Wooten all got letters from Congress, the Judiciary Committee, asking them to appear for voluntary transcribed interviews to talk about their trip to D.C., where they met with the January 6th committee. This one person called Dexter Bond, talked with the committee, explained there were trips that occurred. These people were on it, so now they're being brought in to come and talk about it. We're looking forward to that. We've also seen, courtesy of our friend Garrett O'Boyle, former FBI individual, whistleblower who was suspended by the FBI, shared with us that they're were passing around a resistance coin so that they can be united in their insubordination or something. And we explained what that was, the J6 crap list and more. We also saw that there was an agreement by both sides, the Trump administration and the pathetic FBI agents represented by the FBI AA and other actual employees, John and Jane Doe's, so cowardly they can't even release their names. They're being accused of wrongdoing. The J6ers were accused of wrongdoing. The J6ers had their names and their reputation smeared and destroyed by the FBI on their public X accounts repeatedly for years. Now that the FBI is accused of wrongdoing, they're racing to the courts in a friendly district to have their identities sealed and hidden because they're not strong enough to weather the criticism. Pathetic. Anyways, so we talked about that. Then we saw that Pam Bondi not playing around. She's suing the city of Chicago, actually the whole state of Illinois, and everybody else, including the sheriff, trying to invalidate their laws, saying that the sanctuary policies are illegal, the supremacy clause reigns supreme, and they cannot obstruct the investigations and the enforcement of immigration law. So we read through that. We heard from Governor JB, and then we wrapped out the day indulging in the removal of the bureaucratic, disastrous sign of the USAID being taken down from Washington. We saw how the unions are suing to bring back the grift. They want USAID to come back and all of the spigots to be turned back on so that they can continue to siphon off the American taxpayer. We then got an update on more from Trump and his meeting. JD Vance is dunking on Ro Khanna, and Ed Martin is protecting DOGE. And it's been a beautiful Friday, my friends. I hope your week was outstanding and you accomplished every single thing you set your mind to and your to-do list checked off. Emails emptied out, and that stack of mail has been properly addressed. Let's see who is here today. Thank you so much for sending in these donos and supporting our work. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for becoming membos and joining us. We'll have our members only stream tomorrow on Saturday, 9 a.m. Arizona, 11 Eastern. And we can't wait to see you. We'll see what's happening on the Saturday. We got some great donos, my friends. Thanks for sending these in today. Let's see who is here as we're getting started. Where are we? Let's see. Here it is. It's a beautiful Friday. Here is one from Rob White. Says, make free press free again. Stop government funding. Couldn't agree more with that one, Rob White. Stop the China fraud in the House. And we got those this morning. Those were from our member stream. Hey, what's up? Charles P. Ray. What's up, Charles? 5 months as a membo. Charles, we saw this one yesterday. It says, I am bedridden on hospice and I look forward to probably the show. Charles, thank you so much for joining in on the show. We're really glad to be here with you at this time. And we're sending you our love and our prayers your way. Thanks for being here, Charles. We'll see you tomorrow. Glocky says, all these teachers let their kids out of school to protest Trump in front of LA City Hall. Fight broke out between two groups of kids, and I just watched one get shanked on national TV. And now he's leaking. Yikes. It's not good. Not good at all. This one is from Sergeant GPS. Look at this. Hey, guess what the new USAID is? It's a Spirit Halloween store. Oh, that's too good. That's basically perfect. Amazing. Sergeant GPS, thank you for flagging that one for us. That is great. Get your costumes. Came over from Planet of Memes. Hilarious. So good. All right, what's up? Buzzy B says, hit the like button if you haven't already. And Buzzy B, thank you for that on Rumble. I see you over there. Thanks for being a member over there and for saying that. Hey, it's the Munkets is here. Bringing in 10 new membos. Thank you, Tony Hay, for doing this. We got CGI Joe is here. What's up? Stuart Stevenson. Bucko, welcome. Tabitha Britton. Pino Shea's helicopter tour is the best tour you've ever been on. Mimi, Luis, G&K Jensen. What's up? Icarus and Andrew S. Gifted membos, courtesy of Tony Hay Munkets. Hey, it's the Munkets. Thank you, Tony Hay. Hey, Cynthia G. just became a supporter. Thank you, Cynthia, for that. And Real Chris says, hit the like button, my friends. Thank you, Real Chris, for the reminder. We do appreciate it. Ed 2276 says, if Trump revokes JFK's executive order establishing USAID and signs executive order abolishing USAID, do the USAID lawsuits die? I think their basis is that it was established by Congress. So in other words, they're not relying on the executive order. We didn't see much of that today in the lawsuit. We saw them relying on the congressional creation of it and the appropriation of it. So I don't think so. In other words, I don't think they're hanging their hat on JFK's executive order. They're hanging their hat on the congressional statute. So I don't think it would eliminate their claim automatically, rather. Glocky says, yep, there we go. We shared that one. Elon saying the building is now occupied by Border Patrol. Thank you, Glocky, for flagging that one. Hey, Fax says, facts matter in the house, says living the lurker life. That is true, Fax. I noticed that. Oh, but oh boy, are we winning. We are 29 months as a member. Thank you, Facts Matter, for hanging. Even if you're lurking, we appreciate you being back there and supporting us. Thank you, Facts. Hey, Darlene Lane. Thank you, Darlene. No comment on that one, but a nice dono. Thanks for sending that in and supporting our work. I hope your Friday's outstanding and you have a great weekend. Michael W. says, I thought all the J6 documents were destroyed. So if Fani used them as part of her investigation, how would Trump's team get those docs in discovery, or am I missing something here? Yeah, so couple great points. Yeah, Donut, Don't Mind Me, says they destroyed all the video interviews, leaving only the transcripts, which are likely manipulated, and they were terrible transcripts, which is a great reminder. Terrible. You couldn't even tell who was asking questions. They were talking over each other. They were horribly transcribed. And some of them evidently were also deleted. So some records are not there. They published a bunch of them, but a bunch they did not. Now, I think I also see what you're saying. In other words, does Fani have a subset of the J6 documents that were not destroyed? Could you see what is in her possession and corroborate it or index it versus the J6 documents to see what is missing? Maybe there's stuff she has that has been deleted. So no, I don't think that is inappropriate. I think Trump wouldn't really be able to get her internal workings as a criminal defendant in that case, because again, she's calling it work product privilege and attorney-client privilege. So it would need to be something like Trump doesn't have the standing per se to go get those materials as a defendant, but an outside investigation or Congress, right, an independent external body would have more of a claim to oversight over her office, whereas Trump as a defendant would not. Now he runs the DOJ now, and Congress is in the Republican hands now. So those are new avenues, which is why we're excited about it. Glocky said this. So the agency being audited and investigated is now calling the auditors an inside threat. Go figure. From Wired. Wired has been on a rampage, man. They must be getting cut off of that USAID money, man. Says that a Treasury threat intelligence analysis is now saying there's an insider threat. Yeah, because they're not in control. Dove7, what's up on locals? Thank you, Dove7. Says, I think before the Democrats of Congress try to get into the Department of Education, they should be educated on what the department actually does. Well, I think they know. And it's not education. It's elevation of Democrats and Democrat entities and, teachers unions and big money pits that all vote Democrat. It's USAID just applied domestically to Democrats. So that's why they're like, oh crap, They're actually anticipating where they're going next. Like, oh crap. It's like when you realize you forgot something, you race home. They're like, they're going to check in there. Racing back. Knox says, hey, TGIF all, DOGE should consider the failure to fill out the J6 form as a positive, like my court does when my clients fail to show for random UAs while on bond. Yeah. In other words, if you don't show up for your P test, then you failed, right? You're done. So if you don't fill out the form telling us what you've done here, then you're done. Like, we're just not going to allow you to continue to be here. I agree, Knox. Hey, Bonnie Cross, thanks for joining up on YouTube. We'll see you tomorrow on the members only stream. And new membos, check out this morning's stream. We had a fun morning today, and it was great. Glocky says, bruh, the FBI has $1 billion budget, and the best they can come up with is a Ronald McDonald lookalike coin with a person's name, a name, and never, ever be scared of some FBI boys. They're terrible. That's true. Hey, this old guy says, he's known familiarly in the Bureau as Driz. He's a young 45 without the typical G-man bearing of his predecessors, bushy mustache, a face framed by long curls, and a twinkle in his eye that bespeaks intelligence. But he quickly became an internal FBI hero after his refusal to furnish the names who contributed to the investigations as top Justice Department officials desired. So I think maybe they're splitting hairs on that. Like, he gave them the employee ID numbers, but not the names. So they'll just, I guess, figure out who the numbers are. That's what NBC's Ken Delanian was reporting. I don't know how accurate it is. Uncle Bozy says, all right, let's see if I have this right. The J6 investigators do not want their names to be known because they're afraid of vengeance from the people they prosecuted. Now, here's a fact. The names of every local county and state law enforcement in America is known to every person they arrest or investigate. So why do the FBI agents think they should remain anonymous? Yeah, right. And I think their perspective is they don't want to be consolidated and like on a list. But certainly, I don't know why the J6 defendants wouldn't be outing all these people. Maybe they are. I think some of them are, actually. Hey, Sheila Poo says, the people want DOGE to be ruthless about cutting the waste. Yeah, it's the only way you can do it. And I know, I'm sure there are many good people that are having stuff cut out from under them unexpectedly. And I can appreciate that if you're doing good work, like, oh man, our government source of funding is gone. But you're kind of always you should be anticipating that. Like, the government funding is not going to be there forever. Entities that are in these spaces should have multiple revenue sources, right? Because we're broke in this country. We don't have the money for it, and we want to use the money that we do have efficiently, get our budgets back in order, and more. So we're here for it. And they keep saying, like, Elon's not elected. It's like he kind of was part of the deal. That's why we voted for Trump. Glocky says, one of the reasons. Speaking of the FBI, did you know that 2 counterterrorism agents got drunk and shot at local cops, and then the prosecutor recommended no jail time? They weren't even authorized to be in the state they were in. This is just one video. It's wild. Local PD was super mad. That sounds like a good one. Thank you for that, Glocky. More here is bringing in more here. Look who's here. 10 more people. Thank you, more here. Andrew Richardson. We got Tim Bowman, Kitty Rogers. What's up, SSG? Adam Juneman. We got MK, Purple AJ, Bioman, Sherry Barber, Christy Shortridge. We got MM362, gifted membos, courtesy of More Here, bringing in 10 more here. Thank you, More Here. Hey, Glocky says, you know what? Cash should go scorched earth. Release the Waco files, the Fort Hood files, the Pulse nightclub files, Boston Marathon, San Bernardino, every single attack, including Las Vegas, and all the assassinations and more. What's going on? Hey, Michael McKenna brought in another coworker, Sue S. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Michael McKenna is a pretty stand-up dude, isn't he? Glad he brought you over. Thanks for coming by. Hope you enjoy the show. We hope to see you back. Thank you, Michael, for doing that. You're awesome. Sheila the Pooh, 1,000,000 hugs to you. Thank you for bringing in 10 new friends. We'll see all of our new membos tomorrow on the Saturday stream. Join us. Elong is here. Astewa, and we got Andrew Horowitz, Kevin White, Robert Surfer, Robert A., Michael Barrett, Ed Bestor, NC November Girl. We got Celestial Rose, all gifted membos, courtesy of Sheila Pooh A million hugs to you. Thank you, Sheila. And welcome 10 new friends. Glocky says, to be clear, this is the max penalty if you harbor an illegal and they commit a murder or serious crime. This punishment is for the people who harbor the illegals, not the illegals themselves. So all these politicians and NGOs can be sentenced under the law. From Glocky. Chubby says, I bet all these lawsuits in DC will randomly get assigned to Judge Chutkin. I know, gosh. Yeah, could you imagine? All of them go to her. Wow. USAID is back. So Judge Mercan's daughter can get some more money. Knox says, okay, if USAID's job was to alleviate poverty, obviously they suck at it and they need to be fired immediately. Yeah, they don't actually, like, these entities are created to solve problems and they don't actually solve anything. Glocky says, Canada is freaking out big time. Justin actually thinks we are going to invade Canada. I wonder what Trump has told him behind doors. Justin Trudeau on a hot mic said, Mr. Trump has it in his mind that the easiest way to do it is absorbing our country, and it is a real thing. Yeah, we're not playing 51st state. Cliff says, when Biden shut down the Keystone Pipeline, 12,000 people lost their jobs. Biden grinned and told them to learn to code. We had none of this wailing and gnashing of teeth. No, because they don't actually care about Americans at all. Look how mad they are for foreign aid, USAID. It's like, geez, they're never this upset about anything. What are they so mad about? It's because it hits their pocketbook. Hey, Sharpie guy says, I laugh out loud so much as I listen in, Rob, but Trans Chop Shops was the laugh out loud of them all. My wife is rolling in the heavens above, so my German Shepherd and Labrador came running up to get in on the action. Seriously, Rob, you were so clever, and we love you and your content, and of course, our Watcher family. Shout out Sharpie guy, and shout out, first of all, to your wife upstairs, hanging out with my bro and the rest of my fam. Not all of them yet, but we'll all be up there too. And shout out to your German Shepherd and your Labrador. Shout out. Real good pups in the house. We appreciate it, Sharpie guy. Yeah, that's a fun one. That is a fun one. Hey, this one came in. Let me, before I continue scrolling down. Okay. Hi, Ken. Hi, Ken. Ken is here. What's up, Ken? Hi, Ken. Kenyon Nassar said, welcome. Hey, Kenyon. Thank you for this. Bringing in 5 new membos. Diane, you don't need to know. Welcome. Libby T. Krista Johnson is here. Matthew Bennett and Pug Paws all gifted membos in the house, courtesy of Kenyon. Hi, Ken. Welcome to the show, and thanks for bringing in 5 new membos. B.H. Williams says, how is it possible that 300 babies have HIV in a couple of weeks? That doesn't pass the smell test. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what they're doing over there. Yeah, I don't know. I guess born with HIV, but I don't know how it works, but they're all dying thanks to Trump. Sheila Poo says, please, so many lies. Okay, USAID is a slush fund money laundering entity. No doubt. Shane says, yeah, for the libs and the rhinos. That's why we're getting all this rage, and they are furious. Sheila, thank you for that. Tony Hay Munkets, you know now that the Dems have pretty much lost their power. We need judges and district attorneys to step up and shut this tyranny down. Yeah, the DC circuit is very concerning, and I think it is going to be a problem for the foreseeable future because judges are forever. What's up, Ray Ronk? Here's a serious question. If USAID succeeds in restarting, can we file a class action for misuse of taxpayer funds? Probably not. There's a concept called political question doctrine. It's a standing doctrine. And in other words, you can't sue essentially for government policy unless you've got some real injury. So the appropriate recourse under that doctrine is to vote. That's your class action. It's voting. So just get a bunch of people involved in the political process and go vote. There's your class action. You change your leadership. USAID changes its policy. That's the appropriate mechanism. Angel Small, what's up? Says, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. That's from that one movie. Dory. Nemo, that one. It gets better. It gets better. Just keep swimming. I don't remember the jingle. Cliff Norman. Thank you for that, Angel Small. Thanks for being a member for 6 months, 2/3 of the way to a baby. Cliff Norman. We have some Native American tribes that do not have electricity or running water. Bring USAID home to support the forgotten people. It's long overdue. Yeah, we got plenty we can do in America rather than spending billions of dollars overseas and on Ukrainian media. propaganda. Wojo, they are getting paid. Time to find another job. Sounds fair to me. Yeah, they're not even been fired yet. So what's all this meltdown for, Wojo? Everybody else has to deal with the possibility of being fired. Why not government affiliated people too? Knox says, if there is anything more hilarious than Maxine Waters storming a building labeled education, and are they not supposed to be in Congress doing the work of the American people? Well, they got to get paid. All right. They're not working for free. They're like, hey, this is where our money at. Knox says, I think Congress has email and could probably email a request for a meeting like 99% of the rest of us. Yeah, but it's hard to record that and like get mad about it, like on an email. Like, I'm sending this very mad email. Record me. They can't do that for their donors. Black Dragon says, time for Democrats to step aside. They no longer represent the American people. And they're not going to do that. In fact, they're going to double down and they're going to stand up infrastructure. Like, don't get me wrong. Thomas Massey made a post about this. We talked about this morning on our Membo stream, where Massey said, just wait, like there's going to be a bunch of Republicans who are just like hiding in the corners right now. Not paying attention to this, but eventually they'll come back out and they'll want USAID back. So we got to be cautious about this. Former says, who is that guy with the bad haircut? They should start a GoFundMe so he can get that fixed. It looks like he went straight from homeless to Congress. Yeah, gosh, I don't even know who we're talking about, but could be a lot of Congress people. Tony Hay Muckets, what's up, Tony Hay? Says, I'd like to know who comes up with all these crazy ideas. 20 million for Sesame Street? Who wrote that? And all this other crazy stuff. They must be laughing while doing it, suckers. Yeah, well, they're getting millions of dollars. So they just say they're doing some health service or whatever service, and they just skim it off the top. So how much did 20 million buy them? I don't know. Sheila Poo, if you want a meeting, pick up the phone and schedule it. You don't show up as a large group to interrupt the work days. And what were they going to do? What were they going to accomplish? Go in there and just lecture somebody for an hour? Tex Rick says, stop the hammering, please. Stop the hammering. I can't take it anymore. I'm just security for Department of Education. Yeah, man, that guy had the patience of a saint. Did you see that? Sitting there, oh my gosh. Go away. Eric Sean, thank you for this nice one. Says, at what point does executive branch put their foot down? When the judiciary oversteps their authority and to ignore them. Checks and balances does not mean one branch unilaterally decides how the other branches operate. Yeah, it's a great question, Eric Sean. This is when you get into constitutional crises, right? And there's that famous quote, I think it was Andrew Johnson who said it. I could be misremembering that. But there was some conflict, okay? Like maybe it was Indian removal, something in that context. The Supreme Court came back and issued an order, and he said, great, they have an order. They can enforce it. Like, who's going to stop me, right? Like, let them enforce it. Like, what are they going to do? It's the Supreme Court. They've got no power. Then you got a constitutional crisis, right? So we got to be cautious with that stuff. But I understand your point. At some point, like, what if the two branches are operating in violation of the Constitution? What do you do? And I think it goes back to the people. The people decide what is legitimate, ultimately. It's kind of the final check on the other branches, is we the people. So we're behind the legitimate entity. And we saw who the legitimate entity was this time. Knox says, my son, who is a lovely man, husband, uncle, and is a project manager for a multi-million-dollar oil and gas project, used to post under the name Big Pimpin' Jens. Hell yeah, sounds awesome. Should I tell him to scrub everything prior to 1999? I don't know, it's a pretty cool name. Big Pimpin' Jens? Dope. I don't know. I guess if he's going to run for DOGE and run DOGE and he doesn't want insane lefties to have a meltdown over that, maybe. Or maybe not. It might actually be now a credential for getting him on DOGE. MJ Powell, what's up, MJ? Thank you for this. Says, hello, Robert. Hope all is well. It is. I hope it is well with you, MJ. The Democratic congressional resistance is getting their collective oversight tushes handed to them. Go President Trump. Yeah, they are. And the lawsuits are flying, and their infrastructure is now, I think, reorienting think about USAID. It's not like they are a new agency. Okay, they're still maybe $1 trillion invested in them over the lifetime of the program. How much money has been built to stand up this infrastructure? They are not going to go quietly into the night. They're not going to, the signs are going to come off the building and they're just going to disappear with a whimper. No, they're operating. I think that they're going to reorient. There's lawsuits flying around. They're going to try to get this puppy back because it's too much at stake. We've never seen Democrats so upset about anything as this. Rick D, what's up? Says, wow, Rick Donner flagging this one from President Trump, posted on X. Says there is no need for Joe Biden to continue receiving access to classified information. Therefore, we are immediately revoking Joe Biden's security clearances and stopping his daily intelligence briefings. He set this precedent in 2021 when he instructed the intelligence community to stop the 45th president of the United States, me, from accessing details on national security, which is a courtesy provided to former presidents. The Hur report revealed that Biden suffers from poor memory and even in his prime could not be trusted with sensitive information. I will always protect our national security. Joe, you're fired. Make America great again. Amazing. Absolutely right. Joe Biden started this whole thing, and now Trump is correcting the record. Red One, Joe Biden's security clearance just revoked from Red One. There it is, man. Thank you guys for flagging that. Good. Should be gone. He's demented. It's going to Hunter Biden and Jill Biden anyways. It's not going to Joe. RG, what's up? Says it's a script, short for scripture. That's why they swear upon the Bible. More to come from RG Williams. Thank you, RG, for the donut today. Neuro D, what's up, Neuro D? Shared this one. Says this is a cool project to support. They're building an AI-powered investigative research tool that will allow anyone to explore and analyze the vast collection of JFK records, including the FBI, CIA, Warren Commission, and newly released declassified files. Using advanced AI tech, JFK ME will cross-reference, structure, and extract insights from all of these documents in a way that's never been possible before. Looks like a cool link. Interesting. So creating a little chatbot. Cool. Hey, Knox is here. Hey, prayers for our man, Charles. Big prayers for Charles. Charles, thanks for being here, my man. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Sketch Therapy and Knox, thanks for that. Sketch Therapy, welcome aboard as a supporter, but it's also saying you've been a member for 8 months. So what gives? I stand with big balls, and I hope you stand with big balls too. We are all big balls today. Nelson Big, coincidentally, says, where are the JFK files? Well, remember, the executive order was a little sneaky in that because they said they had to develop a plan to release the documents within 15 days. So I don't know where the plan is. Maybe it's been developed, but yeah, it's probably going to be a while. Ruth Duheim became a supporter. Welcome aboard, Ruth. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for signing up. Diane says Trump canceled the Biden clearance. Oh, it's beautiful. Everybody's catching it. I love it. Thank you, Diane, for flagging it for us. Mama Bear, what's up, Mama Bear? See you tomorrow morning. Thanks for becoming a supporter and supporting our work here. Tony Hay Munkets, bringing in 10 more membos. Thank you, Tony Hay. Hey, it's the Munkets doing this. Encrot, Bo Hunter. We got Caustic Chameleon, My Alaskan Girl. What's up, James Fitch? We got John Emery. Suck it up, Buttercup. It has to happen. Became a membo. Desh is here. Roger Needham. We got Walter Bryant, courtesy of Tony Hay Munkets as our newest membos. Just Don is here. Thank you, Just Don. 23 months as a membo. Trump is revoking Biden's security clearance. What's good for the goose is good for the gander or something. Hey, GF Ting in the house. Thank you, GF Ting, for becoming a supporter. Joining up. We'll see you tomorrow. Saturday shows are tons of fun. We'll see you then. ELZ says, Rob, your big, beautiful spotlight is shining down upon the rain of unrighteous tears, washing clean the soul of America. That's a hell of a tagline right there. $7 for luck. ELZ. Thank you, ELZ. It is shining down upon their unrighteous tears, and we are washing clean the soul of America. It feels good. We're just a small part of it, ELZ. I know you're helping with it. Hey, what's up? Black Dragon is here. Man, that's cool. I used to like that show Gargoyles as a kid. Remember that one? Those gargoyles. It was a pretty cool show. Hey, Black Dragon. It kind of reminds me of that. Black Dragon, what's up? Mike Nificent is here. Cheryl Lau, what's up? Patrick Barnes, Wicked Truth is here. Summer Sunrise, welcome. Porsaw Jones. We got Colin Boyer, Liam 007, Economath, and Jason Light in the house. Gifted membos, courtesy of Black Dragon. Thank you, Black Dragon, for bringing in so many membos today. Hey, Michelle. Michelle, thank you for bringing in 5 new membos. Michelle Perkins is coming in hot with 5 membos. William Simpson, Sarah Smith, Starling Lee, Matthew Powell, and The Truth Will Set You Free, courtesy of Michelle Perkins. Michelle, thanks for being a membo and for bringing in 5 new membos. You're awesome. Cliff Norman is here. Yeah, this one. AOC discovers ICE has detention centers outside of every 7-Eleven. She says it's very cold-hearted of them to do that. Get it? What's up? Sergeant GPS says this is from Grok. Since its inception in 1961, USAID has spent $3.8 trillion. Thank you for doing the math, Sergeant. Oh my gosh. This figure is based on information found on the web and throughout posts on X. Insane. So that's 3.8 trillion of like Democrat infrastructure that they've set up around the world. Do you know how much that is? We got our work cut out for us, boys and girls. Thank you, Sergeant, for looking that up. I was suspecting like $1 trillion. It's almost 4 times that. Just me says almost a year. You have been an evening tradition for 3 years. You and the guy at the door deserve a Presidential Medal of Freedom. Thank you. that guy, I don't know. That guy deserves it much more than I do, for sure. You know, we're just live stream here for a little bit. That guy was like dealing with demonic energy in his face. Let us in for the money. Let us in. We want our money. So that guy's like, he deserves it for sure. I'll nominate him. Just me, my man. It's a real honor. Thank you for being here for 3 years and for hanging out with us all this time. It's a real treat to be able to spend this time together with you. And I mean that. And I appreciate your support for 11 months. Awesome. Jerry Swoboda. What's up, Jerry? We'll see you tomorrow on the Saturday stream, along with all of our amazing membos. And that's going to be a ton of fun. Let's say hello to our friends on X and see who is joining us over there. And then, of course, we're going over to Locals, watching thewatchers.locals.com for our members only after party. We're going to debrief and hang out for a bit, see what everyone has to say. Let's see, couple X comments. Hey, Barb Schaffer says, I hope Trump brings up the USAID waste, fraud, and abuse during his Super Bowl interview so the rest of America can get the facts about what DOGE is doing. Yeah, we're in the middle of an info war, to Alex Jones that, right? They are orienting themselves up. I've noticed that the output of Democrats has increased dramatically. Okay, lots of senators are making videos, they're posting comments, they're posting memes, they're posting videos. There was a memo that went out. They're saying we're losing the media battle. And you can even think about it in terms of output. Like, who is literally putting more posts out? The Democrats or the Republicans? Trump or the Democrats? And the Democrats have increased their production recently. So they're orienting. So just get ready for it. B. Torn, what's up? Sharing some nice comments. Says the legislative branch has no right to enter the executive branch without permission. Subpoena if they want. Standing outside crying is grandstanding. And what they're saying is gaslighting. That's their reaction to being denied entry from B. Torn. Great comment, B. Torn. Hey, no time for leftist BS says, hey, thank you for your fantastic videos and coverage of all the craziness. From watching your videos, I'm cutting my lib friends to pieces. Metaphorically, obviously. I hope. I appreciate that. Yeah, I really do appreciate that. I think that it's important to be educated and informed, to be civic minded, and to be able to cut through the nonsense and the BS. It's a tough task, man. So great job out there. Thank you for representing. We appreciate you standing firm for the truth. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Phil, I was given to understand USAID was created by executive order. And then I think they backed it up with congressional legislation. John Cobb is here. Says the bank robber union demands the bank stop putting money in locked vaults. Hilarious, yeah. Bank robber union saying, why are you locking your funds away from us? Great comment, John. Winda, did you notice the police inside the building? Made Go says Trump just revoked security clearances of Joe. We saw that. And so those are great comments. Thank you for joining us over on X, Rob Govea ESQ, where you can follow us and follow other watchers out there in the wild. We had this one come in from Chris D. Do you think Fani and crew will be charged with RICO? Yeah, so it's a great question, Chris. I don't know. I doubt it. I doubt it, but you could make the argument for it. I think you could go multi-state. You get Jack Smith, you get Alvin Bragg, you get Letitia James, you get Fani Willis, you get all of them, right? And bundle them up, orchestrated by the White House, all corroborated, through Merrick Garland's office, or, throw in Timothy Tebow, the FBI guy, all the way up to Merrick Garland, maybe even Joe Biden. It's a possibility. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not, but a boy can dream. So, my friends, once again, thank you so much for sending those in. It has been a beautiful Friday stream. We are going to pause there for the week. Head over to Locals, watchingthewatchers.locals.com for our members only after party. Otherwise, membos, we'll see you back here tomorrow, 9 a.m. Arizona, 11 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. California for our Saturday stream for membos. And whether you're on Locals or elsewhere, we'd love to see you. Want to thank our amazing mods and meme smiths who help keep this show on track all week long. You guys rock. K-Bean, Donut Mind Me. We got Carrie B, Playing Hooky, Dog Digger, and Janek in the house, modding the fort down for us. G-Gums, our meme smith. Elliot, Doc Master in the house. And of course, our purveyor of fine emojis, Just Rhonda, helping out. We want to thank you so much for being here, my friends. Of course, it has been a beautiful week, but we'll unplug from politics for a little bit this weekend. We're going to get outside, get some fresh air, some vitamin D, some sunshine, some movement, spend time with our friends, our family, the people we love, and of course, rejuvenate our spirits, restore our soul, because we're coming back here next week to get into it again. And in order to do that properly, we're going to need to see you right back here so that together, with your help, we can shine that big, beautiful spotlight of accountability and transparency down upon our system with the hope of finding justice. Make it an amazing weekend, my friends. Sleep very well. I'll see you right back here on Monday. Bye-bye.